Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. Many of you know by now that one of my mainly stated facts of video games is that graphics do not a good game make. In addition to that, I think it is possible to have a good game without a huge amount of complexity or even story. Innovation, charm, and character can make even a simply created indie game more enjoyable than a AAA title, and while yes, these types of opinions can be highly subjective and open to interpretation, it is games like this that reminds me why I play and review so many indie titles. So, taking that into account, let's take a look at OESE. Ladies and gentlemen, this is OESE, and yes, it looks very basic, doesn't it? But don't let that put you off right off the bat. OESE is a space survival game which relies on resource management mechanics in which your ship flies along trying to survive long enough to find a new home. Now, along the way, you are joined by a tiny and somewhat fun little robot and encounter any number of around a dozen different races along with multiple different planets and space phenomena. Your objective is to survive the point where you can establish a new colony, and it's actually more difficult than you might think. I'm not even sure there is an end to this game, as I haven't actually beaten it yet, but it offers some decent diversity and is fairly simple, but seems to do what it intends to do rather well. Now, OESE focuses on turn-based resource management where you have crew, shields, and power, along with your three primary stats, military, diplomacy, and ship. Now, each stat determines how well received your ship is by those you encounter, as well as how much shields you can garner, and what your weapon power is, and these can be modified with the number of crew assigned to each stat. And trust me, you're going to need quite a bit. Now, in addition to all of this, you have everything else that you encounter. You have a giant cube that is very reminiscent of the Star Trek Borg cube. These guys are called the Nox.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
And these vessels are called the Nox, and they will come along periodically and will require you to sacrifice quite a bit in order to be able to keep going. And I have to say that this game does throw in more than a few Star Trek references. It has the Nox that are very obviously a hat tip to the Borg. They also have a creature that you encounter that is very much reminiscent of the crystalline entity.
D-signal, Captain.
Does that mean you were on that tangent?
Shields up, got a yellow alert. Transmit friendly greetings, all languages, all frequencies.
I can't believe anything's overtaken us this fast.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Sorry for that, folks. I had fun setting all that up, and it bore showing off the hat tips this game has, and I spent quite a bit of time there getting that set up, so I felt I had to use it at least more than once. Now, the graphics are obviously very basic, but for these types of games, it's more about the character underneath the graphics than graphics for its own sake. And this game does have a basic charm to it, which I rather enjoy. It runs stably and well at a surprisingly smooth 60 FPS. Yes, that's right, the developers actually paid attention to wanting their game to look as smooth as possible. And couple that with no crashes or glitches that I noticed, and it promises to keep you pretty casually entertained. Now, the seemingly random nature of the types of encounters you get, coupled with the fact that it does take some thought and memory retention to improve your scores and playthrough times, does warrant numerous playthroughs, especially for those that wish to indulge in different playstyles, whether it be more diplomatic or warlike in nature. To wrap up, OESE is a fun little game that I took to right off. It lacks immersion, and the turn-based gameplay makes it a little bit more casual, but if you want an inexpensive resource management game that can promise to do what it does well and provide a good amount of playtime, then OESE is the game for you, and I can rest comfortably recommending this game for its $5 price tag. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a look at OESE. It is available on Steam for $5 or your regional equivalent. It was released yesterday, June 14th. And once again, I am SidAlpha, and I will see you next time.
We are the Borg. Lower your shields and surrender your ships. We will add your biological and technological distinctiveness to our own. Your culture will adapt to service us. Resistance is futile.
Hi there, boys and girls. Thanks for checking my video out. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to hit that like button and maybe even that subscribe button. Trust me, it works really good. Don't forget to share with your friends, and if you're interested in following me on Twitter and Facebook, the links for that are in the description down below. I also have a Patreon if you're interested in helping to support the growth of my channel, and the link for that is down below as well. And once again, thanks for watching and supporting my channel, guys. I really appreciate it.